Britain's Prince Harry opening up for the first time about the darkest days of his life, his mental health issues after the tragic death of his mother, Princess Diana. In a candid interview with the British newspaper The Daily Telegraph, the Prince, now 32, says burying his emotions for nearly 2 decades led to emotional struggles and near breakdowns. Now an advocate for mental health awareness and treatment, Prince Harry praises his brother William for pushing him to seek help in his late 20s. Harry says he's in a good place now.
Well, now to this truly fascinating legal question. Where does a media persona end and the real person begin? Where does your online persona end and the real person begin? That's the question facing a Texas jury as controversial but very popular radio star Alex Jones fights a custody battle for his 3 children. Jones's ex-wife says his on-air rants show that he's unstable, but his lawyer says Jones is just a performance artist that's playing a character. What about this case? Criminal defense attorney Jonas Spielberg joins us, as well as criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool. It's great to have you both. Jonna, that's such a fascinating question, right? Where are we the most real, in person or sometimes online in this environment? And I'm curious, when you look at this case, Jonna, who do you think has the strongest argument? Is it Alex Jones's attorneys that say, this is kind of, this is him performing, or is it his wife that's saying, well, this is who he really is?
I have to take Dad's side on this one, and I think the court will too, because the court is going to get behind this person's career and say, look, this man is making, Alex Jones is making a pretty good living out of having very crazy and offensive opinions. He's got millions of followers, he makes a lot of money, and that doesn't necessarily make him a bad person or a bad father. I couldn't help but think of Howard Stern. I'm a fan of Howard Stern, not of Alex Jones. Would anybody consider him to be an unfit father? And he's made a fantastic living at being a shock jock. And I don't think all of Howard Stern's opinions are, his actual opinions when he's being Howard Stern. And this case is really no different.
We're showing some file video, Brian, of Alex Jones, and he's yelling in front of the cameras. And those that listen to him might hear him yell as well. It's interesting to note about Texas that it's the only state where this custody battle will happen in front of a jury, that it's a jury trial instead of just a judge making a ruling. How do you think that impacts the case, being that Alex Jones has a lot of information online, a lot of video that can be played? How does it impact?
Well, good point. Most states do not have custody battles heard by a jury. It's heard by a judge. I think the fact that this case is pending, Jenna, in Austin, Texas. I spend a lot of time there. It's a very liberal, progressive city. And you're going to have a lot of jurors that, first of all, aren't going to believe that this is a performance. They're going to believe that Alex Jones has a politically motivated agenda, that he's a President Trump supporter, that he's out to get Democrats. And with a lot of Democrats potentially on this Austin-based jury, and combine that with some of those tapes that you just showed your viewers, and if you combine that with one more key fact in this case that I think is going to go to the heart of whether he loses custody, is whether these kids were exposed to the ranting and raving. He produces this show from his basement. Are his kids involved? Are his kids in the basement when he's doing this? Does he allow his kids to see this? If he does, he may lose partial custody.
I just want to underscore something that Brian's saying. He has full custody right now, doesn't he, John? I mean, that's part of this, is that the wife is coming back and the ex-wife is saying, I want custody, but she's not attacking whether or not he's providing food or shelter for the children. She's not saying he's a bad father in that sense, or is she?
Well, this is the only argument she's making, is that he's not a fit parent because of what he does for a living. And the interesting thing for me is, since he already has custody of these kids, what she's also going to need to show is that there's been a change in circumstance. And from what I understand, Alex Jones has been Alex Jones for a while. And if these kids are thriving with him as the custodial parent and nothing else has changed, I don't see a judge siding with mom on this one.
Brian, take up that point, because the battle between these two individuals does go back several years. We checked as far as we could. This is not a new battle between two new individuals. This is something that's been ongoing. So how does that come into the case as well, in fairness for both individuals?
Well, John is right. Alex Jones currently has custody. So his wife's lawyer is going to have to show, for example, that these kids have had behavioral changes in school. So you're going to have to look at any counseling and school records to see how the kids are doing in school. If they are doing well in school, Jenna, then I think that Alex Jones has a great chance of keeping custody.
Very interesting. We'll see where it goes. It raises an interesting question for everybody that has an online profile. You know, you guys do, right? How does that? How can we bring that in? And it's an interesting question as social media just gets bigger and bigger. Jonna, Brian, great to have you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you.